Over the years, Subaru's been good at making a lot of different kinds of vehicles. They've been good at making funky little pickup trucks. They've been good at making high-riding station wagons. They've been good at making rally cars for the street. They've even been good at making a rear-wheel drive sports car. But there's one type of vehicle Subaru's never been good at making, a three-row family SUV. They've only tried it once, and this is what they came up with. An SUV so hideous that it scared kids in the carpool lane. And it was called the B9 Tribeca, which sounds like a vitamin I should be getting more of. Needless to say, Subaru's oddly styled and named family SUV didn't make it long before being canceled. Fast forward to modern day, and Subaru's taking another crack at the family SUV, and this is what they've come up with. And they promise the only thing this has in common with the B9 Tribeca is 3 rows of seating. Let's hope they're right. And straight away, I can tell that Subaru learned their lesson from the B9 Tribeca. This looks like a normal SUV that won't send young children crying. In fact, it looks a lot like a supersized Subaru Outback, and I think that's a good thing. This should appeal to both Subaru loyalists and newcomers to the brand. And Subaru even named this thing sensibly. Instead of calling it the C12 Ginkgo biloba or something like that, they just called it Ascent. There's more good stuff in here too. This center stack is so logically arranged that even the family dog could use it. There's a big responsive touchscreen here, big buttons and dials for the infotainment system here, and more chunky knobs and buttons for the climate control here. And there's another LCD screen on the dash that displays a lot of pertinent information, so you don't have to take your eyes far off the road to see it. You can tell that Subaru designed the Ascent with family hauling duties in mind. There's a big trunk, there's plenty of room in the second and third rows, and the packaging in this is just minivan-like. Take a guess at how many cup holders are in here. 8? That'd be a good guess since the Ascent can seat 8 with a standard bench seat, but it's not even close. There are 19 cup holders in here. 19! And don't worry, Subaru wasn't so obsessed with finding spots for cup holders that they forgot about entertainment for the kids. The Ascent is the first Subaru to come with in-car Wi-Fi, and it's available with up to 8 USB ports, so you can keep everyone charged and happy. The Ascent uses a boxer engine. It is a Subaru after all, but it's not a 6-cylinder like you might expect. This uses Subaru's new 2.4-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. But despite being a 4-cylinder, this actually makes 6-cylinder-like power. It's got 260 horsepower and 277 pound-feet of torque. That latter figure is actually one of the better ratings in the segment. The only thing that has more torque than this is an EcoBoost Explorer with a 6-cylinder engine. A CVT is the only transmission available in this, but it does have a manual mode that simulates 8 speeds. The Ascent also has a pretty neat trick up its sleeve. This is all-wheel drive, of course, but Subaru went to the trouble to fit this with the same torque vectoring all-wheel drive system as the WRX STI, and that's standard on every model. I bet your family SUV doesn't have that kind of rally-bred performance. The Ascent also comes with a lot of safety tech as standard. Every Ascent model comes with Subaru's EyeSight system, those two eye-looking things up there, which includes adaptive cruise control, emergency braking, and lane keep assist. And all but the base model comes with blind spot monitoring and rear cross-traffic detection. Now that we've covered all that, let's go for a drive. That building behind me houses a spruce goose, which is appropriate because this is the largest Subaru ever produced. But you have to put that into context because Subaru is not exactly known for making land yachts. This is a big vehicle. It's bigger than the Honda Pilot and the Toyota Highlander, but it's smaller than the Chevy Traverse. So it's not the biggest car in the segment, but it is sizable. Even though this is the biggest Subaru ever made, it really doesn't feel that big from in here. It's not all that wide and you sit up really high, so you kind of have this commanding view. And a lot of new SUVs, you sit down low, which makes the vehicle feel bigger. But this really does feel like a smaller SUV than it actually is. The Ascent's not exactly a lightweight. The lightest one is about 4,400 pounds, and once you load on the options, it can get up to 4,600 pounds, like this one here. This is the top level touring, but it's really kind of quick. I didn't expect it to be this quick. It does 0 to 60 in about 7.4 seconds, and it feels good off the line. This 4-cylinder makes a lot of torque down low, and it really helps you get away from a stop sign or a stoplight. There is a little bit of a dead zone in the middle of the RPM where there's not a whole lot of power, but then the engine comes back on at about 4,000 RPM, and there's plenty of power there for passing on 2-lane roads or something like that. Here we go from a stop. Not bad. Even though this 4-cylinder offers more performance than I was expecting, the Ascent's still an efficient crossover. The base model with its 18-inch wheels will get up to 27 miles per gallon on the highway. The upper-end models, which have more equipment that make them heavier and also 20-inch wheels, get 26 miles per gallon on the highway, but that's still competitive within the segment. As I mentioned earlier, I'm the top spec touring model, and it really does feel like a premium vehicle in here. You get nice leather on the dash, you get some wood accents, and everything just looks and feels nice. And they've got a pretty good value proposition going on here too. This top spec model is about $45,000, $46,000, and that stacks up pretty well against the competition. A Honda Pilot that's fully loaded, you can get almost to $50,000. So you're gonna save a few grand by going with this Ascent. This Ascent is actually really good to drive. On a straight bit of road like this, it's just a comfortable cruiser. It's quiet, you can get a little bit of tire noise, but really it's quiet in here. There's no wind noise, and I can't really hear the cars passing by. But then when the road gets windy, it's good at that too. There's hardly any body lean in that, and part of that is because of the Boxer engine. Unlike a V, the Boxer is set really low in the chassis, which helps lower the center of gravity, so it feels a lot more planted. And the suspension is just set up really well. It's comfortable and can be sporty. And the torque vectoring, you can really feel it helping you to hustle around corners, and the steering's nice and direct. It's just a lovely vehicle to drive no matter the situation. So there it is, the 2019 Subaru Ascent. After spending the day with this family ute, I'm happy to report that 3 rows of seating is indeed the only thing the Ascent has in common with the B9 Tribeca. Unlike its predecessor, the Ascent looks good. It's got a well thought out interior, and it's got some high-tech features like standard eyesight and available Wi-Fi connectivity. And although you'll never confuse this for a WRX, this thing actually drives really well for a vehicle this size. The 4-cylinder engine's got good power, and you can really feel that torque vectoring system helping to maneuver around tight corners. So I think it's safe to say that Subaru can finally cross off making a good 3-row family SUV from its to-do list.